Good afternoon, everybody. Before I start, just want to wish Coach Pitino and his basketball team as he starts the season all the best of luck. He's a good friend of mine and starts his basketball season today, and I get a chance to go over there and watch him practice. So it's a lot of fun watching him. So good luck to them. And then I also want to give a big congratulations to Coach Stephanie Golan and our women's soccer coach or soccer team for their huge accomplishment in winning the Big Ten tournament. So kudos to them, and they truly deserve it. It's been fun to follow them, beating number 1 team, number 2 team. It's pretty special what they just accomplished. So opening statement, I'll start with, I'm sure a lot of you have questions about what has happened and what's going on. So I'll just start with, made a change at the defensive coordinator position with Rob Smith. Rob's a good friend, a close friend, a tremendous football coach, great person, handled it very, very well. And, of course, it's a very difficult conversation to have, but he was, he understood, and we had a great conversation, and he's going to be, he's going to be just fine as he continues to move forward. And, decided to make a change. There's a lot of blame to go around. I mean, it all starts with me first and foremost. It's the toughest part of the job, and whether, it's popular, unpopular, easy or hard, you get put in a position to make decisions that you feel need to be made, not only for now, but for the future. And it's very difficult to make, but that's why you're the head football coach. I thought our team responded really, really well from it today at practice. I talked to Rob, then after Rob, I talked to our staff, then right after our staff, I met with our team. I wanted our team to hear it from me, and then met with a lot of individual players after that. This team's been through a lot of change over the course. If you've been here 5 years, you've seen a ton of change. But I felt that was necessary for a lot of reasons. And again, I won't necessarily get into every single thing, but you know how I work in terms of schematics and then coaching and then personnel. So there's a lot of blame to go around in all 3 of those categories. But again, I'm in charge of everything, so the blame starts with me. But, as we continue to move forward, I thought today's practice was tremendous. I thought the kids came out and worked really hard. Joe Rossi's our defensive coordinator as of today and moving forward to finish out the season, and then I'll kind of reevaluate everything as we continue to go through that. But he did a great job. He's accepted the responsibility and knows what he has to do. And there'll be some things that change. There'll be some things that don't change. There'll be some things that he does that just personality-wise that, when there's a new coordinator, new personality calling different things, that can change that up as well. So very difficult to change so much schematics in 3 weeks. That's not what this is about. This is about moving forward into the future. And if you know anything about me, when you have a decision made, I like to make that decision. I don't like to stall, and I wouldn't want that to happen to me. So it's just a hard part of our profession. And like I said, I felt that was necessary for our football team. So with that, I'll open it for questions.
PJ, will you make any personnel changes in terms of players defensively?
Well, it's not like there might be a few personnel changes, but some of the personnel changes are due because we have another injury, and now we're breaking red shirts. And we'll do that. There is some competition at some other positions to be able to get some other guys on the field. You'll see that. So it's, we've got to continue to create that competition even within the defense, offense, special teams. And we've always had that. But this year with as many young guys as we have, they're forced into playing instead of maybe having to just earn that spot. They're forced into some role that maybe they shouldn't be in just yet. But our older guys have to continue to lead the way. So there could be some personnel changes, some forced, some made, but those are getting made today, tomorrow, Thursday.
As an offensive guy, that's your expertise. Did you spend more time on the defensive side here lately as things kind of unravel?
I tend to be really consistent in how I run our program. I believe in consistency. And one thing I've learned is I don't like to micromanage as a leader. I like to let my people lead and let them have the freedom to be able to be who they want to become. There are times where I meet with all of our coordinators. I meet with all of our staff every single day. I do everything of how I want that particular thing done. But I don't believe in the micromanaging part. And but yes, I spent some time as a head coach. I don't like to be, like you said, I'm an offensive guy. I've come from an offensive background, but as a head coach, you're neutral. Do I spend a lot of time on the offensive side? Yes, but I get over on the defensive side as much as I can. I get involved in the special teams as much as I can. I think the head coach has to be everywhere. They have to be able to see the program everywhere. And so same with the coaching staff. And it's, I think that's been consistent.
What were you seeing that necessitated the change?
Well, like I said, there's a lot of different things, whether it's schematics, whether it's the coaching part, whether it's the personnel part. It's a combination of all of that. And as you continue to move forward, you either see that you want this to continue to happen and you believe in that, or you make that change. And again, nothing personal with Rob. He's a good friend. It's just I felt that every decision I make has to do and has to be for the University of Minnesota, our football program, and our players. And this was not because of our players. This is for our players. And I made sure that message was very loud and clear to our players when I met with every single one of them. It's not because of them. It's for them. It's young people at times when things are changed, they immediately, in our society, look at what I do wrong, what I do. And that had nothing to do with that. We have to get better. There was a big difference between the beginning of the year, end of the year, for a lot of different reasons. It was a very inconsistent roller coaster type ride. And again, there's a lot of blame to go around, and there's a lot of areas. But again, that starts with me.
What kind of response did you get from players when you met with them?
Well, anytime you change, right, no one's going to come in there and say, whoo, when you make a change like that. No one's going to do that. I let them talk to me and ask questions, and I told everybody why in terms of the team meeting, then met with a lot of individuals. I'll keep those individuals pretty private, but they our team really understands I think they feel like we know you're going to make the right decisions for us. Hopefully I've proven that to them over the course of the last 2 years, that everything I do is for them. It's about them. And that's the majority of what I got. A lot of them have personal relationships. I want them to keep that personal relationship. Life's about relationships, about connections. Just because somebody leaves with a job or somehow, some way, that doesn't mean you have to end that relationship. And I don't want them to. And I made sure I made that very clear. But I think our players handled it maturely, and I think today's practice proved that, just how well they practiced today and how energetic practice was. But that's been what the season's been like anyway in terms of practice. But the response has been very mature.
You have a lot of young players on the field, and they're getting experience. Are they improving with that experience as much as they should be at this stage?
The answer to your question is, are our freshmen? Or you're asking if our freshmen are improving. The answer is yes. And we've had 3 Big Ten players of the week, the freshmen of the week. That's never happened here. And you're starting to look at guys break records as freshmen. I mean, that's what we said was going to happen. We also said it could be very difficult. And that's what – there's one thing about me saying it, right? Because I think a lot of people say, well, you say it all. You say this. You say that. That's all you say. You say. But I said year one is going to be – we're going to have year one, whatever year one looks like, insert in year one. And then year two could get a lot harder before it gets better. And knowing that is based on your roster, what you do to change a program. And what we had to do here was either bring heavy, 18 to 20 junior college players in to fix it, or basically start over with a lot of high school players. Not to say I don't recruit junior college players, but we went to the really high school route and young freshmen. We said at the beginning of the year, if we stay healthy, I think we've got a really good chance to be a good football team. We haven't had that. Basically right now our 6 best players are out. And then there's some others that provide that depth. And once that was gone, we said that at the beginning, right behind that was very youthful inexperience. And that's what's been playing all year. And we're talking about mentally, physically, and emotionally young. It's not in 2008, it's very difficult to do what a lot of these guys are doing. You can do it. Rashad Bateman's ready to play. He is ready to play. He came here to play. He didn't care. He was ready to play 3 years ago at this level. He couldn't wait. There's some that might not necessarily are physically ready, but they think they're ready. And then they play, and they're like, oh, my gosh, this is not what I thought. But that's part of when we said, hey, listen, you're going to play. In recruiting, like, yeah, we're going to play. They're playing. And I think they're getting a lot better. And you can see that. I think our quarterbacks are getting better. The one thing with young players, though, is you get a lot of inconsistency. And it's everything. It's academically, athletically, socially, spiritually. First time away from home, first time away from everybody. And you can get by with 2-3 freshmen playing. But when you have 30-some freshmen on your 2 deep, that's not what you want it to look like. but it's necessary. And I got hired to do what's necessary to get to a certain destination at some point. And that's what I'm doing. And I'm proud of the young players that are playing. I'm proud of our seniors. I'm proud of our seniors who understand what their role is and how to develop this young team. You know, they didn't want Rodney or Shannon to get hurt. They didn't want OJ or Antoine Winfield or Antonio Chenault to go. They didn't want all that to go down. But they have embraced their role of, okay, I'm going to set the foundation of what's to come. And when that happens, I've talked to every one of our seniors. When that happens, they're going to be on the sideline with us. You know, and that's the best way I can describe it to them is 100% honesty. That doesn't mean you can't do something. Like we've said all along, that doesn't mean like you just because you're young doesn't mean you can't win. It's just a lot harder to do it. You know, we've lost one less game, we've lost one more game than we did last year to this point with 3 games left. And we're the youngest team in America. So we're making huge strides. It's just I don't think people they just see the win and loss part. We're making huge strides. It's just there's a lot of things we have to fix as we continue to get better, continue to get older. And time is one thing that we don't have right now, but you have to use it now so you can use it over a long period of time.
Moving forward, what are some of the qualities you want your future defenses to have, kind of your brand of football?
Well, first of all, I love how hard our team plays, period. You know, I have never questioned our team's effort, their lack of their spirit, their fight, ever. I mean, they play incredibly hard, every one of them. Special teams, offense, defense, love that. But again, what I want to be able to do, one of the things we always talk about is eliminate big plays. Well, we have not done that. So we're talking about future defense. We have to eliminate big plays. Our conference, our West Side is getting way better. And most offenses are built on these explosive plays. Our game's changing, you know, and which is good. We're changing. We're evolving. We always have. But it's the explosive plays and the turnovers. We have to get way more takeaways, and we have to eliminate the explosive plays. And I think that's what I want it to look like as we keep going forward and keep getting better. And that's what we've talked about since day one we've gotten here, and that's how you win ball games.
With Rashad Bateman, you talked about him meeting a lot of expectations. What areas has he done something different or exceeded them?
I think the one thing that, you know a kid's ready to play, but what I think it's very difficult to do is what you're seeing is every freshman that I've ever seen hits a wall at some point. And they hit the wall at different speeds. Some hit the wall, it's flat, it just runs down like an egg, right? And it's over. Some hit the wall and they hop and then they go down, and then they kind of crawl back up. Some hit the wall and they go right through the wall. What he's doing is going through the wall. The catches he makes towards the end of that game are unbelievable over the middle, and then to finish that's very difficult to do. He's able to make these big plays in a lot of crucial and big-time situations, which is very difficult for a young player to do. Purdue's got 1, 2 in Rondale Moore. And it's easy to do it when it's just, okay, you're up by 40 or you're down by 30, but he's been doing it and being a huge part of our offense, and he keeps getting better. That's what surprises me. Not only that, he's one of the best human beings you'll ever meet in your entire life. Constantly serving and giving, constantly going out in our community and doing other things. He's a tremendous student. He's got awesome grades right now, right? And he has incredible faith in his life. He's just all around just one of those kids that you just, you want your daughter to marry. He's one of those people. And that's what we want to continue to bring in and continue to feed into our program because, our program is about serving and giving. And it's about making your life about something bigger than yourself. And football's a part of that. It's not the only part. It's a part of that.
With Jamal Teague, he's on the cusp of taking his red shirt off. What have you seen?
I knew you asked me that.
What have you? Is that something that you wanted to avoid? And
I met with Jamal this morning, so your ears must have been burning. So I met with him this morning. He's on the verge. He's on the cusp. I'm probably going to have to break the year. That's the reality of it. I'm not going to keep any information, but I'm probably going to have to break the year for him. I had to talk to him. He had to, do you want, is it okay if I do this, first of all? And he's like, anything I can do for the team, coach. I said, you've played some football for us. I said, it's not like you're just going to spot play now. You're going to start. You're going to play. And now you get that experience to jump forward now into next year. And, hey, listen, if something ever happens and you had an injury, we could always redshirt you. You have that in your back pocket now. And so, but he's going to play. And again, he's not ready to play, but he's going to play, and that's the position we're in. So he's a really good player now, really good player. He does a lot of things that we don't have right now. But again, he's just not as strong as everybody yet.
With Rossi now calling the plays defensively, what kind of changes do you want to see from him in these final 3 games?
Well, it's hard to see, like I said, the wholesale changes. What I want him to see is be himself. Be himself. Call the game as you call the game. I don't want you to be anybody else but Joe Rossi, right? He's been a coordinator before, multiple places. He's a tremendous football coach, a wonderful human being, knows what some of our issues are. And I told him, I just want our team playing fast. I want them playing fast, and I want them having confidence when they step on that field on Saturday and them playing really fast and knowing exactly where they need to be. And then I know that that's our conversation. So he's going to be he's a really special coach, and he's going to do a great job.
PJ, kind of a 3-part here. Shannon Brooks, is that a lengthy rehab for him? Is it an ACL?
It'll be a lengthy rehab. I mean, it's a leg injury.
Was there any discussion with him about coming back next year or just retiring from football? Or is it always...
No. There wasn't any time with Shannon in terms of retiring. It was we had to talk. Do you want to come back? I always do. I always make sure they get to make that call. And without hesitation, I mean, he couldn't wait. He's like, I can't wait. If I got an opportunity to come back, I can't wait. So...
How's he handled, I mean, he had his mom and then 2 knee surgeries in 1 year. It seems like a lot for anyone, but how's he handled kind of all that?
It's been a hard year for him. We're still talking about 18 to 22-year-old young people, right? Loses his mom, has major injuries, had a situation that went on a few weeks back, right, which he was cleared of everything. That's a lot to handle in a year, and especially when, you're away from home, as far away as he is, and you have a complete coaching change and a change, and to deal with that, it's inspiring to watch these kids continue just to keep getting better. They handle a lot, and he has not let the circumstances dictate his behavior. Is anybody perfect? No. Has he learned from everything he's done? Absolutely. Has he learned from every success he's had? Absolutely. This is an educational program. This is not a professional program. This is an educational program. Everything that happens to our young people, they are going to respond and they're going to learn from. And they're going to be taught how to do that. And if they embrace that, that's a choice. If they don't embrace that, that's another choice. All Shannon has done is embrace it. That does not mean that same situation won't pop back up at some point. That won't mean that you won't get fired from your job, or that you won't lose somebody in your family, or somebody else won't pass away, or you won't ever not get in trouble again. But how you respond and the choices you make is going to affect the rest of your life. And this is an educational program. It always will be. 12-0, 0-12. It will always be that way. And what I'm proud of is he continues to keep his oar in the water, and he continues to row the boat. This is what row the boat's all about. Nobody said row the boat was easy. When we haven't won a championship in 51 years, there's a lot of things that go into that than just winning. There's mindsets, there's perspectives, there's consistency, there's all these other things, and there's this educational piece of how to do that. And we feel we know how to do that, and we have done it. And not only on the field, but off the field with a lot of players. And I love that challenge to have that. And all he's done is respond, I think, the best he possibly can. And there's times that he's done it the right way, times he's done, okay, let's not do it that way. But that's how you grow up. And he's matured a lot since the day I've stepped foot on campus. He has tremendous grades right now. And that's a compliment to him. That academically, athletically, socially, spiritually, he's growing up. He's maturing. He's becoming a man. And it's fun to watch that happen, that you have a piece and you have a part of that. And Kenny Burns, our running back coach, does a great job with him.
You've had 8 fumbles the last 2 weeks. How have you guys addressed that?
The ball's a program. The 78% we always talk about, right? You've known that. We're 4-0 when we win it. We're 0-5 when we've lost it. It's very simple. We've continued to stay very consistent in how we do that. I think overreacting to something, I don't ever do that, overreact. But we have addressed it multiple different ways, and it's been addressed. And again, there's some people that have to be able to fail to learn, to fail to grow. And that's the biggest worry that you have with young players. Because once they become juniors and seniors, they usually have enough that they've touched the hot stove enough that they don't touch the hot stove anymore. No matter what you tell the freshmen, they're going to touch the stove. You know they're going to touch the stove. The inexperienced players, they're going to touch the stove. Not on purpose, you just know what's coming. You know how it works. The ball comes out in every football game, known to man, NFL and college, high school. But they have to understand the value that that ball is more important than anything that can ever happen in that game. And if you just win that battle, just win that, you're going to win the football game 78% of the time. And the games we have won it, we've showed them why. The games we've lost, we've showed them why. And the constant message behind that, trained behavior becomes instinct. The trained behavior of the balls of program, will eventually be a behavior that we have, a habit. Well, the more we do that consistently, that habit will then become an instinct. But you can't have an instinct before a habit, and you can't have that habit before the behavior's trained. So that's what we're working on every day.
We have one more for Coach.
What do you see with this Purdue offense, and
Everything.
what kind of challenge is it coinciding with the change you're making?
Well, it's a big challenge for our football program, but we love the challenge. I always want our players to understand the challenge that they have before them. Like Alexander the Great, he's one of the youngest rulers of all time. He took over when he was 20. He was young, inexperienced, probably didn't know what he was doing, and boom, ruled an empire and did a lot of things people didn't think he could do. Purdue is a really good football team. They've got explosive playmakers everywhere. You play the game, and that's why you play the game, because in college football, you just never know how it's going to turn out. Their quarterback's a fifth-year player, I think 5 or 6. I can't remember whichever one, but he has failed a lot to be successful. He talked 2 years ago at the Big Ten Media Day, David Blau. It was one of the most impressive speeches I've ever heard a young person ever talk about. It was I actually went in the hallway, met him afterwards, and just said, I have never heard that come from a student-athlete's mouth in my entire life. Most well-spoken about process, about how his interceptions early in his career have helped him be what he is now. And that was 2 years ago. And now look at him. They've got weapons all around him. Rondale Moore is one of the best receivers. I don't think I have to talk much about him. Everybody knows how good of a playmaker he is. Went to Jeff Brom's high school, actually. He was committed to Texas originally and then obviously went there. They've got explosive playmakers on the outside. They got a great running game. They got experienced backs. They got experienced offensive line. They stayed healthy. And defensively, they rallied to the ball. And they play with high energy. And they're a really good football team. And you got to give credit to him and his staff. They've done a great job. And their offense is very difficult to stop. Not many people have stopped them this year. Not many. And the 2 times they've been somewhat stopped, it's been inclement weather. But it's, they scored so many points against Ohio State, and you watch them do what they do. I mean, it's exciting. They do a great job. You got it. Row the boat, came out. Go Gophers. Thanks, everybody.